Hello, I'm Lara Kulcharsan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. US President Donald Trump says he will decide within 2 weeks whether America will join Israel's attacks on Iran. Prioritizing international matters instead of putting America first puts him at odds with some of his most ardent backers in the Republican Party. It also flies in the face of his election promise to extract the US from forever wars in the Middle East.
We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars, 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
Promises that he'd be a peacemaker helped seal Trump's second term at the White House. His pledge to make America great again resonated with voters. Now, the thought that American boots could hit the ground in Iran or aircraft soar over its skies is being seen as deep betrayal by some of his most loyal supporters.
You're not going to convince me that the Iranian people are my enemy. Again, we're going down this here. Here's who you're required to hate. It's Orwell, man. I'm a free man. You're not telling me who I have to hate. I'll decide who I like and don't like on the basis of my values and what I believe my interests are. I don't want to be involved in this at all. And I think most Americans don't. And it's only because
we're inexorably getting drawn into a war.
By a tiny minority of people. You know what I mean? I'm just like, it's all so fake. I'm not playing along. I just don't want my country to be further weakened or destroyed by another one of these.
I don't think we should be fighting wars on behalf of Israel, and many Americans agree with that. I'm one of those Americans that are really sick and tired of the narrative that we're constantly told that we're supposed to hate some country that's overseas, that maybe we've never been to. We don't know anything about that country, but we're told that they're the greatest threat to our freedoms and our democracy, and that we have to go to war with them. I've never seen a Houthi or a Houthi, or however you pronounce it. I don't even know what they look like. I haven't seen them back home in Rome, Georgia, where I live. I haven't seen them in Washington, D.C. And I keep saying that, how is this a threat to everyday Americans when they are not threatening us here at home in our homeland?
Marjorie made those comments a month ago, and she's not the only one who's not familiar with America's enemies abroad. One of Trump's most hawkish supporters just got roasted for not knowing enough about Iran, a country that he supports attacking. Ironically, he was called out by fellow Republican Tucker Carlson.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's, it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
MAGA loyalists are not alone in challenging Trump. The majority of Americans are also not keen on joining a conflict that's not their own.
I don't want to go to war. Nobody in this country wants to go to war. Ask people on the left, ask people on the right. Nobody wants to get involved and spend billions of American taxpayer dollars supporting the Israel government to go destroy the entire country of Iran, just like we did right after 9/11, because, oh, this country has weapons of mass destruction. Israel has weapons of mass destruction. We're going to get involved in a multi-generational war that has no clear point of victory. For what? Why? Why am I agreeing with Thomas Massie right now? Why am I agreeing with some of the craziest Republicans in Congress? Because that is how crazy Donald Trump is being.
It was just overwhelming chaos.
You can do whatever you want because you're in Astroworld.
There was a countdown clock until Travis Scott came out.
And that's when it started getting pretty hectic.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't take a deep breath.
The Astroworld disaster of 2021 in Texas has been brought back to life after Netflix dropped a documentary highlighting the shortcomings of its organizers, Live Nation. What began as a night charged with adrenaline and elation for Travis Scott fans, the Ragers, ended in unthinkable tragedy. 10 lives lost, more than 300 injured, and a festival that will never be forgotten. It was advertised as a space where attendees were allowed to go crazy or rage. That's exactly what unfolded on the day, and security personnel were quickly overwhelmed. Some say they were hired last minute and had not been given contingency plans if chaos broke out. And as Scott began his set, they lost control of the crowd.
If you see on this map, there's like the left side. I was at the top section, at the very back of that barricade, kind of like in front of the second section on the left side. Unfortunately, I think this is where majority of the deaths had occurred. You can see in this video, you can see that we were like squished, like jam-packed, and still I didn't feel any red flags. It wasn't until like around stargazing where people were squishing and crowd crushing really bad around us. I remember that I was like looking up and it fully clicked that I was really gonna die in this moment whenever I was about to pass out. After that, it was just years of therapy trying to heal from the PTSD, survivor's guilt. And it's not fair that I'm here because other people lost their lives.
Scott's fans have defended him fiercely while hiding behind the idea that being on stage in front of thousands of people prevented the musician from making out what was going on. But a recount of the horrifying incident seems to reveal that staff were informed of the situation and on the ground, including those behind the festival.
Yeah, people said they collectively heard folks screaming help every time you stopped the song to get your attention. Did you hear any of those screams?
Nah, man. Anytime I could see anything like that, I did.
Before Travis even took to the stage, Live Nation, who organised the concert, knew they were over capacity. Despite the main stage only having space for 35,000 people, they reportedly sold 50,000 tickets. Concert organisers from Live Nation are exchanging texts saying they know things are bad. One of the organisers say, "I feel like there is no way we're going to fit 50k in front of that stage. As the crowd gets bigger and bigger, they send a text saying, stage right of main is getting crushed. This is bad. Pull tons over the rail unconscious. There's panic in people's eyes. This could get worse quickly." One of the organisers says, "I would pull the plug, but that's just me. I know they'll try to fight through it, but I would want it on the record that I didn't advise this to continue. Someone's going to end up dead." They'd start to desperately climb up on the stage, trying to get the organisers' attention and begging for them to stop the concert. There are multiple recordings of people calling 911 from the crowd, begging the operators to tell them to stop the concert.
Sardine summer. Sardine summer.
What is up with the sardines?
Okay. Oh!
Oh! Ooh! I actually really like the Spanish paprika one.
So I hear the new It Girl snack is sardines.
Big bite.
Today, me and my mom are showing you guys our favorite sardines.
Not even kidding you, like this looks delicious.
Sardines are making waves, not just on your plate, but across your feet. These oily fish have long been a staple in countries like India, the Philippines, Tunisia, Portugal, Greece, and Italy, celebrated for their bold flavor and health benefits. But now, their colorful tins and Mediterranean charm have turned them into lifestyle icons. From sardine print shirts to fish-shaped handbags and created snack boards, TikTok users are fully hooked.
You've probably been seeing this fish print design everywhere, especially in the summer. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about sardine core. It started out as a tin can that originated in 19th century Europe as a unique way to can sardines. Companies then started to use a lot of these designs as a way to stand out in the competitive market. You know, these vibrant colors, the whimsical illustrations, and the Art Nouveau typography. This is one of the earliest forms of packaging design, and it influenced future food brands to add more bold visuals to their packaging. Now this design has become its own piece of art, even making its way to luxury goods. What started out as packaging design for canned fish is now a symbol of coastal luxury.
While sardine summer is largely an aesthetic movement, experts say sardines are a nutrient-packed powerhouse. They're high in protein, loaded with omega-3s, and one of the few foods naturally rich in vitamin D. They also support heart, brain, bone, and skin health, making the tin fish both stylish and smart. Every night at London's iconic Palladium Theatre, something unusual happens. Actress Rachel Zegler, currently starring in the new West End revival of Evita, steps out onto the theater's balcony mid-show to perform the musical's most famous number, Don't Cry for Me Argentina. The performance, projected onto screens inside the auditorium, plays out as Zegler sings live to crowds gathered on the street below.
Production is running for 12 weeks only this summer, and the first thing to note is this is a Jamie Lloyd production, which means it is the opposite of traditional. Do not expect full sets and costumes. This is going to be a very different interpretation. I know that people have mixed emotions about this, but basically at the start of Act 2, Rachel Zegler comes out onto the balcony at the London Palladium, and she performs the most iconic song of the show, Don't Cry For Me Argentina, on that balcony to the crowd below, which obviously is not the paying audience. If you're inside the auditorium, you will see that song being projected on a screen. It's shot multi-cam, so you have lots of different angles, kind of like a music video on the fly. Then after that, it cuts to her being backstage, and the camera basically follows her walking backstage and then on stage again, and the screen lifts and she is back on stage.
The move has sparked buzz and some backlash. Passers-by are treated to a free performance, while audience members inside, some of whom paid more than $260 for tickets, briefly watched the star on a screen. Fans are now expected to gather nightly outside the theater around 9 p.m. local time to catch the moment. The show runs until September.
I'm on my way to witness the balcony scene where she sings Don't Cry For Me Argentina! We are here at the balcony. People keep stopping us like, what are you waiting for? Hello, Rachel Zegler!
I think it's definitely better suited for like watching outside than the Sunset Boulevard walk because there's sound, they sing the whole thing out there.
It's like a full scene. There's an entire scene after the song.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.